Cronkite Sports Live alongside Brett Deckert. I'm Kerry Crowley. You could say conference play has been ASU volleyball's kryptonite these past 2 seasons, but things might be a bit different this year.
One ASU coach played Superman last week and made a big financial commitment to the university. So did his boss. How nice of them.
And the Sun Devil hockey team begins its national title defense tonight.
But we start on the gridiron, jumping to last Saturday afternoon in Boulder, Colorado. ASU, Colorado. Let's hit it. The second quarter we go. Sun Devils up just by 3, third and goal. Taylor Kelly sweeps to the left, finds who else but DJ Foster. Dives for the end zone, but ruins his jersey in the process. Grass stains, needs to have more fashion awareness on that play. Early in the second half now, Calhoun nabbed that first one naturally. It's Jalen Strong's turn. 2 great blocks made that one happen. Wonderful execution. It makes Todd Graham's heart smile. Next possession for ASU must be Foster's turn again. There he, never mind, sorry. There goes Taylor Kelly. They say he got faster. I believe it. ASU up 38-17 after that score. Colorado would add a touchdown, but nothing more. ASU won the football game 38-24. Fans seem happy there. Todd Graham doesn't. Probably because of what you didn't see here. Taylor Kelly's ankle injury. The star QB suffered a broken bone in his foot. Nobody really knows exactly how long he'll be out for. What we do know is he won't be under center against UCLA next Thursday. That guy will be Mike Bercovici. Huge blow for the Sun Devils heading into a huge battle with the Bruins, but no Taylor Kelly might not be as bad as it seems. I'll let Kerry Crowley, my friend and co-anchor, and Jacob Garcia explain.
Thanks so much, Brett. Obviously, Jake, Brett just said it. The big story this week, Taylor Kelly out, Mike Bercovici in. Bercovici has been with this program since the spring of 2011, but this will be his first start. He's played pretty much nothing but garbage time. You look at his career. Really, Colorado last week was the closest game he's ever been in, and that was a 14-point game. So with that, we're going to take a look at how UCLA is going to plan to defend Mike Bercovici and how the Sun Devils are going to combat that offensively.
Well, UCLA is the type of team that I expect to throw a bunch of different diverse looks at the inexperienced Bercovici. But one thing I see happening right from the start is them throwing the house at Bercovici. A 6-man blitz package, and we saw it last week against Texas. Didn't result in the most favorable of outcomes for the Bruins. 6 guys rushing the quarterback. It created a ton of chaos in the backfield. And for Bercovici, remember, this is a guy who's used to playing garbage time. So the pace of play is obviously significantly slower during that time. Used to playing in practice where he doesn't have to make quick, decisive reads against these blitz packages. UCLA is going to force him to do that.
So when the Bruins bring 6, that creates kind of a conundrum for the Sun Devils because you can't run when the box is stacked. So what ASU is going to do, we're going to break that down. Replacement runs is a term offensive coordinator Mike Norvell uses pretty frequently, and it's something that they were successful with when Taylor Kelly was the quarterback, especially last week against Colorado. We'll show a clip here of Kalen Balazs, Sun Devil freshman running back. Watch this script. He goes just about 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. You've got 3 blockers down the field on a screen pass. Balazs is ready to roll. Center Nick Kelly, there he is. Boom, he's down. Then V. Teofilo, the right guard, he lays a block. Kalen Balazs takes advantage of his blockers, and all Taylor Kelly needed to do here was a 3-yard pass. It's that simple.
Yeah, exactly. But we should stress that replacement runs aren't only designed for running backs. ASU is going to be looking to get creative in distributing the ball to Jalen Strong. And here's exactly how they're going to do that. Last week against Colorado, ASU had Jalen Strong lined up in the slot. Inside receiver, which allows the 2 blockers out in front of him to get ahead, allows for the easy score. This offense for ASU is all about getting the ball out of Bercovici's hands as quickly as possible and into the hands of the playmakers with open space down the field.
So Bercovici has proven he can be successful in practice on throwing those replacement runs, the quick 5-yard routes out to the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs, where ASU is going to have trouble 2nd and long and 3rd and long. The Bruins, they're not going to send the house in those situations as they proved against Texas last week, Jake. Tell us how exactly UCLA is going to defend that.
Yeah, in those long-yarded situations, I expect UCLA to only use a 3-man blitz package. We saw it again last week against Texas. Texas picks up the blitz with ease, but then everyone down the field is blanketed in coverage. So that forces the quarterback to roll outside of the pocket and deliver what is essentially a perfect pass. 2 things we should stress here, though. Bercovici, not the mobile quarterback for ASU. That's Taylor Kelly, who's going to be sitting on the bench. Another thing, we talked about how Bercovici is used to getting in during garbage time when ASU is playing with a huge lead. He's not needed to force the ball down the field they are there. So again, it's going to be an interesting thing to watch Bercovici try and do.
Well, Tyrone Swoops of Texas made an absolutely perfect play, stepping up in the pocket, jutting out to the right, and finding a receiver down the field. Bercovici, he's never really been asked to do that, Jake. In his Sun Devil career, he's played about 5 or 6 games, has 28 or so passing attempts to his credit, but he doesn't throw very far.
Exactly, and his career yards per attempt is only 4.7. Everyone raves about this guy's killer arm, not a throw on the field he can't make. He was even ranked as the number 7 high school recruit coming out of his high school years. We just haven't seen it materialize in game action yet. Hopefully for the Sun Devils, it comes when they play UCLA.
2 3-0 squads, 2 Pac-12 South favorites. It should be a classic, even with Bercovici in the huddle and under center for the Sun Devils. And we'll have all the highlights from that game next Friday afternoon, 2:30 p.m., Cronkite Sports Live. Remember, the Sun Devils trying to black out the Bruins next Thursday night at Sun Devil Stadium. For Jake Garcia, I'm Kerry Crowley. Back to the desk with Brett Deckert.
Thanks, Kerry. Occupying Mr. Crowley's seat right now is my dear friend Zach Pocklub. Pretty sure you have a PhD in analyzing ASU volleyball at this point. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much.
All right. To begin, I want to get this out there. I don't know if it's a problem I'm having.
You have a lot of problems.
All right, don't even. Deja vu. The last 2 seasons, ASU volleyball starts off really well before conference play. We think they've got a lot of promise, and then the train that is the Pac-12 comes along and knocks them right off the track. Is that something we can expect to happen again this year?
I don't think so. I mean, last season they were a little ill-prepared, got a little ahead of themselves, didn't win a match in October when Pac-12 play started. This season, I think this is the best equipped team Jason Watson has had in Tempe while he's been the coach here, and that's because their offense is so much more well-balanced. It's not just the Macy Gardner show. As you can see, last season, Macy Gardner took a third of ASU's attack attempts, not just kills, their attempts. That's a ridiculous amount, and now this season, it's a little bit more balanced. Obviously, Macy Gardner is still the focal point, but the middles are getting more involved, Kizzy Willie's more involved, and that's really big for this team for their success.
Okay, so why does that matter exactly? You know, if one person's doing the job that 5 can do, why does it matter that all 5 are doing it at the same time? Why can't they just have that one superstar?
Well, in the Pac-12, everybody knows they were going to Macy Gardner, but now with their middles being involved, they're getting into more one-on-one situations, really creating a lot of opportunity for their pin hitters to take advantage of those situations. We're going to see it right here. Bianca Arellano is going to shoot a set to Mercedes Benz in the gap. She doesn't get the kill, but on this next free ball, because that middle attack has been established, right there, every single opposing blocker is respecting Mercedes Ben's presence, and because of that, when Arellano is going to backset Macy Gardner, look at that gap. You see that? That's a huge gap. Gardner's going to take advantage of that every time, and she did. Once again, Mercedes Benz just being available and being a presence freezes the opposing team's middle blocker and gives another one-on-one situation to the pin hitter. And that's why ASU is so much more, that's why the balance is so important. It creates those opportunities for the pin hitters.
Look at that. You got 2 examples, Zach. You're always on top of things.
Try
All right.
succeed.
So for our last point, so I'm going to keep playing devil's advocate here. Why is it important to have that balance over, we already said why it's important to have that balance. But what about having that important late in the game, that player to come back and attack and win a game and take over? Do you think they still need that, or is balance win out over that?
Well, Gardner is still going to be their dominant hitter, but Bianca Arellano, the setter, has been really important in the fact that she's spreading the offense out and allowing Macy Gardner to be more successful because she's running the middles. She's finding her middles in transition. I mean, you see it right there. Her sets are not just attempts, but they're turning for assists at a more efficient rate. Half the time she sets the ball, ASU scores a point, and that's because she's finding the middles in transition. The middles are audibly calling what routes they're taking, and the patterns that they're doing are a lot of things you didn't see last season. They're running back ones, they're running slides, they're running gap sets, all in transition in hectic moments. And that's why ASU is so well balanced. That's why it's so effective each time they take the court.
Yeah, the one number that sold me there, that 37 to 54.
Yeah,
that's
a big difference.
It's a staggering difference.
Exactly.
It's tough for other teams to match up against.
Exactly.
Man, talk about balance. There's not a more balanced analyst I think we have than this guy, Zach Pocklub, right here. Let me know how that PhD works out.
He's working on it.
For Zach Pocklub, we're going to send it over a little bit to the other side of the desk where Kerry Crowley is patiently waiting.
Oh, thanks so much, Brett. I really appreciate it. While we take a look at what's ahead for ASU football, we did that earlier in the show. It's now time to get our binoculars out and stare even deeper into the future. This week, the Sun Devils announced their 2015 football schedule, and it's another exciting slate of games. One of the top tilts on the schedule, well, it comes the very first week. ASU opens the season with a marquee matchup against Texas A&M at Reliant Stadium in Houston over Labor Day weekend. The Sun Devils have a tough go of it at the beginning of Pac-12 play. They travel to Pasadena to take on the Bruins, followed by a home contest against the Men of Troy. Todd Graham, well, he'll be excited to see David Shaw's Stanford Cardinal off of next year's schedule, but it's not like there's a significant drop-off. The Sun Devils replaced the Cardinal with a Pac-12 North foe in the mighty Oregon Ducks. Finally, one more interesting tidbit to note about the 2015 docket. Instead of culminating the regular season against U of A, the Wildcats, an early Thanksgiving means ASU will head north to the Bay Area to round things out with Sonny Dykes' Cal Bears squad. You look at that schedule, Brett, ASU has Texas A&M, Oregon. These teams aren't easy to stop. You know?
Yeah, I mean, look at that. This is a little different, though. I mean, they've had Stanford the past couple of years. Now, no Stanford. They haven't had Oregon since that huge blowout, blackout loss they had. Now they've got Oregon on the schedule.
I mean, it's a very difficult schedule. So many great offenses, tough teams to stop. But in my opinion, another tough team to stop. Take a guess.
I have no idea.
The two of us. We're a great tag team. I like us so far. I hope you're enjoying the show as well. But right now, we're going to help moderate this a little bit. We're going to bring in social media guru Jason Chesler to moderate this week's installment of Tweets of the Week. Jason, our social media expert, take it away, my friend.
Good luck.
That's right. I can only hope to contain the two of you with, well, our meanest segment of the show, in my opinion. It's our anti-social take on social media, where we clip 140 out-of-context characters out of someone's life and make jokes at their expense. That's right. They said it, but we picked it. It's ASU Athletes Tweets of the Week. Let's get it rolling with good old Demarius Randall, ASU football, saying, hey, y'all like my new Avi? Or nah. And if you can see it there, it's the chances to win the Pac-12 in poll form. ASU not getting quite the respect that Demarius Randall feels they deserve.
Demarius is hungry, Brett, but with a playmaker like him, I want to see him in action. I don't need a little graphic. We can do that on our show. I want to see Demarius Randall in full action, get a real photographer taking that avatar on Twitter. He's a recognizable face. He needs a little more.
Yeah, but he's trying to get some bulletin board material on his Twitter and social media. I respect it, but I think I agree with the graphic anyway. So I believe in you, Randall, but I think it's right.
So I guess we've got one like it and one nah, if you're keeping
what
track.
Brett's opinion
Demarius
was,
Randall.
actually.
Absolutely. Moving on, our tweet number 2, another exciting one. This one I think relevant to our anchors today, from Katie Moore. Some days want to be blonde, others want to be brunette. It's 2014. What if I want to be, a dark blonde like Brett one day? I want to be a more classic brunette like Carrie Crowley the next. I need that solution.
That was the first time I've ever been referred to having as blonde, some kind of blonde hair. I get red, I get brown, I get blue, but I don't get blonde ever, I don't think.
Well, we both had opportunities this morning to change our hair color.
Yeah.
Brett, 9 a.m. at the downtown barbershop. Myself, 9 a.m. Gentleman Joe's. Your call. Should we have gone blonde? Should I have changed up my brunette look? I don't know, Jason.
Just one thing about that. It's a tough decision to make to get those haircuts on the day of the show. Make or break, depending on how they do. But I got to say, 2 clutch fourth quarter performances by our barbers today. Shouts out to them.
It's bold. 3 fresh cuts all in the studio today. No hair color changes. We got to step
Jason?
it up. Look at this.
Oh, I adore it.
I was going to go blonde. I'll be real. That's why I picked that one. Thought about it. Moving on to tweet number 3. This one's not so much about me. That last tweet was. This is about Carrie Crowley. Michael Cummings, ASU hockey, went to the grocery store, got $100 granola bars, chips, pizza, and deli meat. He asked what's wrong with him. I think, Carrie Crowley, you're going to say, yeah, what's wrong with you? That's 3 more items than you need. If you go to Carrie Crowley's home, all you will find is granola bars.
And pasta.
Guarantee it.
And pasta.
Guarantee it.
Cold pasta in the fridge. Michael Cummings, my question
8
for you.
boxes.
I hope at least 50 of those dollars were well spent on Safeway Select granola bars. They've got a great 18-pack. I could tell you all about it. Variety pack.
He likes the variety.
I'm not on board with the Safeway. Like, you got to buy the name brand
Michael
stuff.
Cummings, ASU hockey,
Coach Powers.
grocery store extraordinaire.
Coach, let me take you out, Michael Cummings. We need to shop. Powers, get on him. Eating pizza? Ugh, I'm disappointed.
I
in
love
you.
it.
Oh well. Well, thanks for joining us, Jason. We'll be back later in the show. The tough thing about playing ice hockey in the desert is that it's actually impossible. The tough thing about playing ice hockey inside an ice hockey arena in the desert is that many people in the desert don't even know what ice is and therefore have a long way to go before they can even begin to understand hockey. The ASU D1 ice hockey team is doing their best job to flip the script, though. Their national championship victory last season caused quite the stir around the state. Another one this year, we might just have an Arizona sports revolution on our hands. The road to a repeat begins tonight, and Megan Plain's about to tell all of us about a player you'll want to watch out for right now.
Arizona State has become a landing point for players across the country, as well as among our neighbors in the north. A national title can do that to a team even when it's in the desert. This year, we expect to see a big impact not only from recruits, but also from a former Division II player, Kota Engbar. The 5'11" Boulder, Colorado native played 51 games during his Division II career, collecting 59 points along the way. Head coach Greg Powers says Engbar was capable of playing with a Division I team his freshman year, but opted to play Division II so that he could play with a larger role in the team. But this summer, he decided to make his move for Division I. He worked out 4 days a week and managed to improve his lower body and core strength, the two most important factors for a player his size.
I went into the summer, with that goal. I have that expectation of myself to play at the highest level. So I just tried to work my hardest to get here.
Last season, Engbar showed the desire to move up to Division I and got his wish. In a rivalry game against University of Arizona, he walked away with 2 goals. Powers says his extra conditioning plays a part in his transition, but familiarity with the rest of the guys on the team has been perhaps the most beneficial.
I was kind of ingrained in this group of guys at the end of last season, so they've made the transition pretty easy and seamless.
Engbar thinks he fits in well with the team, and on the ice, he's confident in his speed. Every roster spot on this team is crucial and can be lost at any time. And while right now Engbar has fought well enough to stay on the team, he has to continue that fight if he wants to stay there.
I come here every day ready to work and push guys. Right now he's a guy that's fighting to get in the lineup, and I think that once he gets in, he could certainly, with his speed and skill set, find a way to stay.
If the junior forward does manage to stay around, it'll be because he gave head coach Powers a reason to keep him. But Powers already thinks he knows what that reason will be.
He can help us win. If he couldn't help us win, he wouldn't be in there.
Questions still remain for this junior forward, but tonight we'll get our first glimpse into those answers as Arizona State takes on Niagara University for its first game of the season in Tempe at 7 o'clock. For WCSN, I'm Megan Plain.
All right, I sprinted my way over here to our adjacent studio now alongside Allison Cummings. Allison, like we said, tonight starts the season. We're not going to preview the game, we're going to break down some awards. Megan just highlighted Kota Engbar, one of the newcomers coming up from D2, but this team is loaded Division I talent from the NCAA that they brought in. Who's your newcomer of the year?
You mentioned NCAA, and it's very hard for me to overlook NCAA Division I talent in Connor Schmidt. That is who I'm picking. The reason why is the M&G scrimmage, he really stood out in my eyes. He was the complete all-star, laying out for pucks. He even had a goal of his own. A couple of shots I thought were going to go in, but didn't. If you look up at the graphic, penalty minutes, 136. Now, that's a lot, but don't let those numbers fool you. He's coming from the United States Hockey League, a much different league from the ACHA, and head coach Greg Powers won't let that slide. I don't think it'll be a problem. He will be an impact player this year.
Yeah, the big thing on that graphic to me was the penalty minutes. It's a lot of penalty minutes, and that really goes against ASU's style. But if he's able to tone that down and give them an edge that they didn't already have, something they're missing against physical teams like U of A, that's a big addition. I agree with you on that pick. All right, now we're going to flip switches. We've got 2 MVPs, offensive and defensive. First, we're going offense. Who you got?
All right, behind every great goal scorer, there is a fantastic playmaker, and that playmaker is Liam Norris. Last year, he centered a line between Danny McAuliffe and Cale Delinsky, who were fantastic point scorers. Those two together combined for 36 points on the year. Liam Norris had 30 of those assists. The graphic has 26 assists up there. That includes a season. 30 includes nationals. Liam Norris is smart, he's unselfish, and he sees the ice very well, allowing him to get the puck up to players that need it. Coach has had him been skating with Ryan Ostertag this week in practice. Those two will click very nicely, I'm sure. Ryan Ostertag is the type of player that needs people to get him the puck, and Liam Norris can be that guy.
Yeah, Liam Norris was one of the guys I thought could have that offensive MVP last season, but he really became, like you said, that playmaker for the guys like Cale. Now that all those big offensive weapons are gone, he might have to take over a bigger role. But you mentioned Ostertag. That wicked shot, he might be my guy. All right, finally, our last question, our last award to give out, defensive MVP. Go for it.
Deja vu. Last year, I had said Drew Newmeyer, and this year I am selecting Drew Newmeyer again. He was paired up there with Blett Blumgren last year. Those two work fantastic. They're opposite players, but they work. Blumgren, incredibly tall, tough guy. The other team does not want to mess with them. That allows for a distraction for Newmeyer. Shorter guy, speedy, very smart, can push the puck up the ice. Bottom line, when they're out there on the ice, the other team is not scoring, and I think they're going to pick up exactly where they left off.
Right, when you have 2 different styles of defense on the same line and they can go together so well, that poses such a matchup problem for opposing teams. All right, well, I'm going to keep these awards up in here. We're going to come back later at the end of the season and check up, see how you did. For Allison Cummings, I'm Brett Deckert. We'll send it back to Carrie Crowley in our studio.
Thanks so much, Allie and Brett. Arizona State football coach Todd Graham came to Tempe with a reputation of jumping ship and darting for the next best opportunity. After all, ASU was his 4th different program in a matter of 7 seasons. The Texas native used his twang to inspire faith in ASU fans, but who could really believe that he would stay in the desert if an SEC school came calling? Well, on Monday, Graham made a few believers out of those critics. The 3rd-year head coach pledged $500,000 to ASU's stadium renovation project, otherwise known as its Momentum campaign. The move was so well received, in fact, that rookie athletic director Ray Anderson and his wife followed suit and matched Graham's donation to the campaign. On Wednesday, Arizona State announced plans to add a student-athlete center to its renovation plan, bringing the total cost of the project to an estimated $256 million. I'm no mathematician, but by my initial calculations, ASU is at least 1/256th of its way to its goal. Either way, the pair open their pockets, and that should get the fundraising off on the right track.
Quick, name the entire ASU men's basketball roster. Just kidding, that's probably impossible. The team returns just 6 players from a year ago, so before we do any breaking things down, let's get to know some of them on a personal level. Bo Barnes thinks that if Herb Sendek had hair, he'd have a Jerry curl. Chance Murray says an afro. Here's the real answer. Both wrong. What are Willie Atwood's 2 favorite things about ASU? The people and the palm trees. He has a point. And Roosevelt Scott would pick Andrew Bynum as his all-star NBA starting center. Sorry, I think I got that wrong. No, it's actually Andrew Bynum. Wow. All right, well, whatever. Now that I've covered pretty much nothing about ASU basketball, here's Cameron Neely and Gavin Shaw with hopefully something about basketball.
Well, Cam, it's that time of year again. ASU basketball's back, and that means the schedule's out again. Cam, I'm of the opinion that as much as talent matters, your schedule shapes your success on the season just as much. Having said that, what do you think about this Pac-12 slate for the Sun Devils?
You know, it came out earlier this week, and there's a lot of excitement, but really, I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face. As you see the schedule right now, I focus on what the people in the Pac-12 right now and the people who have left. Zach Levine, Kyle Anderson, Nick Johnson, Aaron Gordon, they're all gone, and this league is diluted right now. You don't know a lot of the people on ASU, but you will know them soon, and that's the big part, is that this conference is wide open. It's America in the early 1900s. It's the land of opportunity right now.
Well, Cam, even in the land of opportunities, there are hurdles. Last year for the Sun Devils was that Rocky Mountain road trip. They lost to Colorado, got absolutely eviscerated by Utah, but then they came back, beat Cal on senior night, and made the NCAA tournament. What's a similar stretch this year that will have equal importance to the Sun Devils' tournament hopes?
I essentially think it's the same road trip. From February 26th to March 5th, ASU will be going on that Rocky Mountain road trip at Utah, at Colorado. Teams in the Pac-12 talk about all the time how psychologically that's one of the toughest weekends of the year. And once they come off of that, their next game will be at home against Stanford. And although Stanford has lost Josh Huestis and Dwight Powell to the league, their leading scorer, Chase Randall, will be back, and Johnny Dawkins will have that team prepared to play. And it's going to be a tough 3-game stretch as they build their resume for the tournament.
And that Stanford game has some even extra importance given the fact that ASU consistently competes with the Cardinal for a recruit. Having said that, Cam, let's move on to the non-conference schedule. You'll see on your screen in a second the non-conference schedule. 3 games I thought were really important, Cam. What's your take on those?
You know, on those games you see right here, my eye kind of gravitates towards that Marquette game, Gavin. I was belaboring over it as well, but in the end, although that's the place that they lost last year at the Bradley Center on the buzzer beater to Texas, you see Buzz Williams has left. Their leading scorer, Devontae Gardner, and their leading rebounder, Jamal Wilson, have also departed. So although we didn't have the UNLV game up there, I think that is going to be the toughest game because UNLV will have played Stanford at that point that they play ASU, and they also will have possibly played Duke or Temple. It's some weird kind of tournament action deciding who they'll play. But the point is UNLV will be prepared by that point.
Well, Cam, I'm looking at that Harvard team, a team that dominated in the NCAA tournament, made the second round, nearly knocked off Michigan State. They return a guy in Wesley Saunders who dropped a cool 22 points in that game. That's a chance for the Sun Devils to have a real resume-defining win, beat the Crimson, and perhaps make the tournament.
Yeah, and it's at the end of the day, it's a manageable schedule, and it's all speculation right now. We haven't even started official practices yet.
Well, Cam, that's what we don't get paid to do, speculate. Back to you guys in the studio.
Brett, it's always nice to get Cameron Neely back on the show as our ASU basketball expert. Such a great guy to have. And of course, it was tough to sacrifice for the two of us especially, but we did get Gavin Shaw away from the teleprompter and out into the studio this week. Look at the way he's grown up.
Rumor has it he's been your teleprompter for every single show. You feel okay right now, Carrie?
Every
you like the new
single
guy?
show I've had Gavin Shaw, but hey, shout out to Troy Lynch. Such an excellent job today on the teleprompter. We're having so many great people on the show. Why not bring back one of our all-time favorites, Jason Chesler, round 2, the great debate. Let's hit it.
Wow, that's so flattering. I mean, you guys have been so polite. You've been smiling all show long. Friendly faces, but I can tell you guys want to fight it out right now.
I'm not with you, man. You, Jason, I was going to say earlier, you were so kind to us.
You
Carrie,
can't fight.
so much. We'll see how this debate goes.
I'm hearing your words, Brett, but they don't mean anything. You can't fight. It's against the law. It's against the rules of sports. It's against the rules of our show.
We'll see.
Let's have a nice organized debate, okay?
Bad to the bone. Break some rules.
Question number 1. Carrie, you can answer this one first. So, Kelly's out. Bercovici's in. What's that do to ASU football's record this season?
Well, adjusted win total. At the beginning of the season, I said the Sun Devils would probably go 8-4 in its 12-game regular season. Now, I'm going to drop that down 6-6 over 12 games. Bercovici, he will surprise people with his skill set, but this young defense, it's a little more porous than we thought. Bercovici is still not the same quarterback Taylor Kelly is. A few teams look better than we initially thought in USC, so, you know, I think they beat Washington State, I think they beat Utah, and I think they beat Arizona 6-6.
Man, you give him nothing there. I disagree with you on two fronts here. 8-4, really? That's your original prediction? I don't see it. I think they lose one game out of these next 3. They lose one game all season. I read your article. I read your article this week. You proved to me, made me believe in Bercovici that this offense is not going to be as much about him, about the system. He'll be able to keep it going. I believe in him. I believe it.
Look, all I did was pen those words.
So what? The words mean something, Carrie.
Bercovici spoke them.
All right.
Tough call, guys. Brett, I love your optimism. But come on, this is the real world here. Carrie, you were real for us. I love it. Point goes to Carrie.
Brett's world.
Question number 2. This one's on ice. Brett, you're from Philadelphia, maybe more comfortable with this, so you can open this one off. ASU hockey, the only ASU sports team that we cover that is on ice, for the record.
I think so, yeah.
A lot of big changes, bold decision-making in terms of who's playing it forward and the defensive pairs this season. But what's your boldest statement about ASU hockey for this coming season?
We won't have to wait too long to figure out if I'm right for this one. I mean, I'm going to be right, but tonight they play Niagara, the number 23 team in the country. Niagara just missed the tournament last season. Niagara's coming back. They've had a lot of players leaving from last season and coming in, but so does ASU. If ASU takes too much time to get adjusted and rebound, and it's a trap game or their first game, they're expected to come in and take with these like they normally do. They usually win these first games like 15-0. It's not going to happen tonight. Niagara pulls off the upset.
I don't know, Brett. ASU probably has a better chance of going the entire season undefeated than they do losing tonight. My bold prediction, Ryan Belanger, the top recruit in program history, making his debut tonight on the second line for the Sun Devils. That shows how deep this team is. Belanger, my bold prediction, All-American first team.
Second liner, All-American first team. We'll see
Absolutely.
it. You're right, though. This team has 6 lines that could go up against almost anyone in the entire league.
It's tough. Hyped up prospect. I like your decision making there, Carrie. You know, Belanger, everybody's expecting big things from him. But again, everybody's expecting big things from him. Carrie, go bold.
Gotta go bold, baby.
Have him scoring, 250 goals or something. I don't know. That's not extreme enough for this show. The point goes to Brett. That for upset loss in opening day, that would be huge. That's a bold prediction. Final question. I flipped an imaginary coin in my head just now. Carrie, you can answer this one first. Back to ASU football, it was tails, Brett. Carrie, you presented the 2015 ASU football schedule to us, your lovely voice underneath a beautiful graphic with the schedule. What's the toughest challenge in that 2015 football schedule?
Well, I can already tell you what Brett's going to say. He's going to say Texas A&M out of the SEC, opening day, new quarterback, throw all your points you want. The real toughest game on this schedule, Oregon. Why? Back in 2011, ASU hosted the Oregon Ducks. The Sun Devils were down 42-0 with 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. You got to show up. You're at home. It's the blackout game. Things have to change this time around. And oh yeah, this Oregon game, it counts in the Pac-12 standings, which Todd Graham desperately wants to win the Pac-12 conference title.
Exactly. I mean, to me, that seems like an easier game to win and get up for. It's like playing your division in the NFL. Same thing in the Pac-12. You play your conference. Those are tougher games. Those are tough games to win for both teams. They're close games. Texas A&M, ASU's going to be with a new quarterback. Probably maybe a new offensive look. No Jalen Strong, possibly no DJ Foster. They're going into a really good. I think he might leave. Look at this season he's having. Before I was rudely interrupted, and I had to redo all my points here. They're playing basically on the road in Houston because it's in Texas. Texas A&M, they're going to have that stadium packed for them against ASU. First week of the season. That's their game. I can't see them winning that. There's no way.
You guys have really put me on the spot with this one. It's a tough call. You both make some valid points. That last Oregon matchup was absolutely brutal. You're right, Carrie. But Brett just did the impossible for a live sports show. Brett just talked about Texas A&M without mentioning Johnny Football. Oh. I'm amazed. I'm honestly a little bit stunned. I don't think I have effective judgment right now. But with that impact and awe, I'm going with you, Brett.
Nice
you
play.
took the points. You take the victory. You're a hero.
I'm money, man. I'm money.
Wow.
What can I tell you?
The roller coaster we've been on through this show. Thank you so much, Jason, for joining us. Even though I lost, I'll probably have you back again because I'll slip you some cash to the side. Anyway, it's been a wild ride, but all good things must come to an end.
Sadly.
Before we say goodbye to our audience, it's time to cap off another week in ASU sports with our top plays. Let it roll. Number 3, we kick things off. Celebration theme this week. Shea Fields, Colorado wide receiver, defensive backs draped all over him. His get off me dance. Look at Fields in the end zone. Sefo Lufau, the quarterback, comes around to help him out with this celebration. Fields throwing his arms all over the place. You gotta love it.
It looks like a celebration like I'd have playing Madden. I score a touchdown, and I just start running around like crazy. I score a crazy goal, whatever. Number 2, here we go. UCLA backup quarterback Jerry Neuheisel. It's his world. He comes back and wins them the game. We gotta love the celebration here. Did they win the Super Bowl? I don't know, but he's on the Jerry. All right,
I haven't heard that chant since this morning's talk shows. Anyway, Jerry Neuheisel breaks in to the top place. But number 1 reserved for ASU running back Kalen Ballage, the bowling Ballage. Watch Kalen's 7-10 split here. Nick Kelly on the left, then he hits BT Afilo on the right, breaks into the end zone for a Sun Devil touchdown. One more look, does the impossible. The bowling Ballage goes 20-10-5 touchdown.
How about that lower third? Bowling Ballage was my work, and then you got the 7-10 split. So that deserves an award on its own.
I hope people liked it, you know?
I think so. We'll ask them next week. We'll figure it out.
Well, it was a great show. Thank you so much for joining us today. Don't forget to tune in to tonight's Walter Cronkite Sports Network presentation of ASU D1 hockey. You can find all the information about that live on CronkiteSports.com. For Brett Deckert and the rest of our crew, I'm Kerry Crowley saying so long from our downtown Phoenix studios.